So, there really only is one word to describe the new Toyota Tacoma. And I'm going to give you that word in a couple minutes. But before that, I've got to address some of the questions that I've had on the channel recently because I keep getting them. So I thought I'd put a video out not only with that one word, but also addressing questions that you guys have. First off, does it have remote start? Yes, it does have remote start. Although, a couple of things about the remote start. It seems to take longer to activate or to start than the third gen did. In other words, when you go through that key fob motion and then you hold down the button, seems to take a few more seconds than the third gen did. Not a big deal, but I've had a lot of people say, I shot a video on it, so if you want to see it, just search RobMotive remote start. But I did a video on it, and a lot of people have said, gee, I could walk out to the truck and start it before it starts with the remote. It's probably true if you're close. Secondly, it's going to expire, or is it? Meaning, you're not going to be able to use it after the trial period from Toyota is over. Now, that's kind of true. It's true if you're relying on the app to be able to do the remote start. If you're using your key fob, that's never going to expire. That's always going to work. Of course, the downside to that is you're not going to be able to be in China or wherever and remote start your truck via the app. You're going to have to be within range of the remote if you want to continue to do it and not buy the subscription, which I would never do, by the way. Remote start is just really not important to me. Next up, the brakes. We have drum brakes on the back now, no longer disc brakes. And people have asked me, do you feel any difference? Can you tell a difference? And the answer is no. I can't tell any difference at all. I don't stop any differently. It doesn't take me longer or shorter to stop. Now, I will say I haven't done some high-speed test where I nail the brakes and see how quickly it stops as compared to what the disc brakes do on the third gen. That was never really an issue for me either. Every time I hit the brake pedal in the third gen with its disc brakes, it stopped. I never had any problem. And honestly, I've never really understood what the big deal is about having drum brakes in the back. A lot of people have complained about that. I've heard it many times over the years on the channel. I just don't get it. What's the big deal? As long as they work, I don't really care what flavor they are. Nonetheless, it seems the same to me. I don't really notice any big differences with it at all. Now, we have to talk about the turbo. First of all, the turbo itself, do you feel any difference? Hell yes. It is markedly different than the third gen was. The third gen, without the pedal commander, is a dog. Slow, gutless, laggy. We don't have that with this new Turbo 4. It goes, it's quick, and it's undoubtedly because of the low-end torque, right? You feel it. When you hit the gas, it goes. Is there a lag? I haven't really decided yet. It almost feels like there is a slight lag. Definitely better than the third gen for sure. I'm going to find out. We will be putting a pedal commander on this truck, if nothing else, to make it be all it can be. Why not? But you can't get one just yet. Last I checked, Pedal Commander didn't have one out yet for this year. They will, I'm sure. Hold tight. And if you have a third gen and you don't have the Pedal Commander, man, you are doing yourself a disservice. And there's even a discount code. It's code RobMotive1. You can save $30 if you go to pedalcommander.com. I still highly recommend it. I wouldn't be driving a third gen without it. You've got to have it. Now, the other part of the turbo. I shot a video a while back about what you have to do if you have a turbo. Is there anything extra? And the answer is, it depends. If, according to Toyota, you drive the truck at continuous higher speeds, like 55 and above, you're supposed to let it cool down for 1 minute, 60 seconds, before you shut the truck down. Now, is that a big deal? Well, it is for me. I'm pretty impatient. And to, pull up somewhere and have to sit for 60 seconds, a minute, and let the turbos cool down. No, or turbo, I should say. No, I don't want to do that. Not something that I'm looking forward to. And honestly, I probably won't do it at all, because I think that really, and this is my opinion, not backed by Toyota or anyone, I think that if you've driven at continuously high speeds for some period of time and then you slow down, in other words, you get off the freeway, maybe you're sitting at lights, you're driving home, whatever, and it's at lower speeds for more than 1 minute, you've satisfied that requirement. I do not believe that if you get off the freeway and drive for a while at lower speeds, that 1 minute cool down, if you will, actually applies. Now, if you get off the freeway and you immediately pull into a gas station or a rest stop, let's say, yeah, you probably should let it cool down for a minute. But honestly, you're going to eat up most of that minute in the time that it takes you to get from that exit ramp to wherever you're going. Again, unless you're pulling right off into a gas station or even a rest area. Those are pretty close, going to be probably less than a minute, particularly if you're flying down that ramp to get to that rest stop to run in and use the restroom or something. And that's the other thing I talked about in a video recently. What happens if you have to use a restroom, you're pulling off, it's an emergency, are you really going to sit in your truck and let it cool down for a minute? Are you going to leave it running while you run into the restroom? No, you're not. Is that going to cause a big problem? No. I mean, I'm assuming you don't have those kind of emergencies every time you're driving on the freeway. If you do, you're probably doing something wrong. You probably are eating something you shouldn't be. Who knows? So anyway, that's the scoop on the turbo. I don't think it's a big deal. Now, let's get to that one word to describe the new Tacoma, and that is awesome. This truck is awesome. It is a step up, a step forward from the third gen. I don't know how anybody could argue that's actually driven one. Now, there's a couple of things that people bring up. Of course, the price. Yeah, it is more expensive. You can't argue that. It is for sure. And by the way, don't pay any of those dealer markups and negotiate. You still can negotiate on the price of the truck. And if you're in a dealership that simply won't, then move on. Give your business to a dealership that's more reasonable. As far as why it's awesome, why it's better, that's easy. Acceleration, much, much better. Comfort, much, much better. I mean, it's a marked improvement. We're not talking about a small degree improved. We're talking about a massive leap forward. Toyota did a fantastic job in this truck. I highly recommend you at least give it a try. Maybe try to negotiate the price down once you do give it a try, because you're going to want it. And I would say, if you are price averse, don't go test drive one, because when you do, you're not going to be able to leave without it. It's just that much better. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know if you agree. If you've driven a new Tacoma, I'd just be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.